Hi, this is Dawn from Ninja Bunny Crochet. Today I have for us to do this really cool hat. It's made with the Apache tear stitch. It has these teardrops that come down, and I just think this stitch is really cool, and I just love the way this hat came out. So I used 3 different colors to make this hat. I just really like how this hat came out. I'm probably going to keep this one for myself. So the first color I used was Studio Classic by Nicole, and I used deep brown. This is a medium 4 worsted weight yarn. It's 100% acrylic. Obviously you won't use the whole skein. You're going to need about 200 yards total to make the hat. The next color I used is another Studio Classic by Nicole. You can get these at AC Moore. You can either, if you don't have an AC Moore store near you, you can order them online. This color is called Light Brown Speck. This skein is a little bit smaller than the other one. This is a 4.9 ounce skein, and this skein has 260 yards per skein. The brown skein, the dark brown skein, has 372 yards per skein. And then the third color I used is a Red Heart Super Saver. I know there are 2 different brand yarns, but they are both medium 4 worsted weight acrylic yarns. So, and they're basically the same size yarn, same weight and everything, so they worked very well together. This color is Oatmeal. The size of this skein is 364 yards, and it's a 7 ounce skein, so they're very close in weight as well. You don't have to use these yarns. You can use any kind of yarn that you want, but it would be best to use a medium 4 worsted weight yarn for this project. So let's see our hook sizes now. So for the hook size, I used a I 5.5 millimeter hook for the brim of the hat for this part. And for the hat, the body of the hat itself, I used a J 6.0 millimeter hook. You'll also want a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and you might want to have a stitch marker handy just in case. So let's grab our hooks, grab our yarn, and let's get started making a Apache's Tears hat. To start the Apache Tears hat, we're going to start with our I hook, 5.5 millimeter, our dark brown yarn, and we're going to start with a chain of 9. Starting second chain from hook, the one on the loop on your hook does not count. We're going to start with a single crochet, and we're going to single crochet in each chain across. You should have 8 stitches at the end of the chain. Chain 1, turn the work. In your first stitch, you're going to place a single crochet through both loops. The next 6 stitches we're going to work in the back loop only. So this is our front loop, and right back here is our back loop. So we're going to go into our back loop and place a single crochet. I'm going to do that for our next 6 stitches. in our very last stitch, we're going to go through both loops. And that's going to be the repeat we're going to do until we have 60 rows. So we're going to chain 1, turn the work, single crochet through both loops on the first stitch, a little yarn out there, and then in the next 6 stitches we're going to single crochet in the back loop only, until we get to our last stitch, and we're going to go through both loops in our last stitch. And it's going to give us this ribbed look for our band. I see it a little bit better on the actual hat because we have more. So you can see how it gives us this ribbed texture. So please repeat this until you get to 60 rows, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 60. I'm at the end of row 60. We still have 8 stitches. We're going to chain 1, turn the work, and we're going to fold up our brim so that row 1 meets row 60. And where's our end? Here's our end. And we're going to slip stitch row 1 to row 60. So let's go into that first stitch and go into the free loops of row 1. And slip stitch. Go into the back loop of the next 6 stitches and slip stitch. When you get to the last stitch, make sure you go through both loops in your last stitch. We're at the end of the row, I'm going to chain 1, take out our hook, and we're going to turn the work inside out so that this looks just like another rib. You can work over this little tail, or you can bring it to the inside and weave it in later. So now we're going to switch to our other hook. So we're now going to work with our J hook or 6.0 millimeter hook. And we're going to place 1 single crochet in the end of each row. So just place 1 single crochet in each row all the way around your hat, your brim of your hat. Watch your tail there. I'm working over the top of my tail. You should have 60 stitches when you get back to the beginning. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of row 1. We have 60 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we made. To start row 2, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the back loop of that stitch that we just slip stitched into. So just in the back loop. And then we're going to single crochet in the back loop of each stitch around. So this round, just the back loop only. So single crochet in each stitch all the way around, but the back loop only. This is going to be our foundation row to start the Apache Tears stitch. So continue single crocheting in the back loop only all the way around till you get back to the beginning, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. At the end of round 2, we still have 60 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch to that first stitch that we made. For round 3, we're going to repeat round 2, so chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch, back loop only, and single crochet in each stitch around, back loop only. When we get to the end of this round, we're going to change colors. So I'll meet back up with you at the end of round 3. We're at the end of round 3. We're going to change colors, so we need to fasten off our brown. So we're going to cut our brown, our dark brown, and when we've slip stitched, we're going to pull up our next color. So in this case, it's going to be the light brown speckled yarn. So in our slip stitch, we're going to pull up the light brown color like this, and then chain 1 to secure it. And I'm going to go ahead and tie these together. Now you can weave your ends in, or you can work over this one and then weave this one in later, or you can work over both of them, however you choose to do that. Now to start row 4, we've already chained 1. We're going to do a single crochet in the back loop of the same stitch we just slip stitched into. And then we're going to single crochet in the back loop of the next 3 stitches. So that's a total of 4 stitches. Now this next stitch we're going to do a treble crochet 2 rows down. So yarn over twice, and then we're going to go 2 rows down. So we're going to go 1, 2, in that free loop we're going to treble crochet. So let me show that again to you. Yarn over twice and go 1, 2, 2 rows down, grab that free loop, yarn over, pull up the stitch, and complete your treble crochet. Then we're going to do 4 single crochets in the back loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to repeat that treble crochet. So yarn over twice, go down, find your next stitch, go down 2 rows, and get that free loop, yarn over, pull up, and complete your treble crochet. Put a little more yarn here, and I'll show that to you one more time. We're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches in the back loop only. Find our next stitch, which is right here. Yarn over twice, go down 2 rows, catch that free loop, yarn over, pull up the loop, and complete the treble crochet. Continue this pattern all the way around. Your last stitch over here should be a treble crochet 2 rows down. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of round 4. We still have 60 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made. To start row 5, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to be doing a treble 2 rows down to start with. So we're going to wrap our yarn twice, go down 2 rows, and find that treble. It might be a little bit hard to find that free loop. There it is, because we're in the join. And do our treble. This is probably the only one that'll be difficult to find is this first, that one when you're doing it in the join. Now we're going to do single crochet in the back loop only for the next 4 stitches, and you should be on the top of your treble crochet just like that. Then we're going to do a treble crochet 2 rows down, so we'll find that free loop. It should be right next to our previous treble crochet. So it's going to look like a step, just like that. Then single crochet in the next 4 stitches, back loop only. All of our single crochets will be in the back loop, so we have these free loops. Then treble crochet 2 rows down, find that free loop, just like that. Okay, so you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around to get back to the beginning, and this row 5 is going to end with 4 single crochets in the back loop only. So I'll meet back up with you at the end of the row. At the end of round 5, we still have 60 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we made. To start row 6, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do a single crochet back loop only into that same stitch. Into the next stitch, we're going to do a treble crochet 2 rows down. So wrap our yarn, find that free loop, and do our treble crochet. Then we'll do our single crochet in the back loop only for the next 4 stitches. Which puts us on top of our last treble crochet in the next grouping. And we're going to do a treble crochet 2 rows down, and we find that free loop. And do the next 4 stitches back loop only, single crochet. And then I'll show you one more time how to do the treble. 2 rows down, 1, 2, find that free loop, and complete your treble crochet. Okay, we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. We get back to the beginning again, and row 6 ends with 3 single crochets in your back loop only. I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 6 where we're going to change colors again. I'm at the end of row 6. We still have 60 stitches left, and we need to fasten off our, clip off our light brown yarn, and we're going to be pulling up our oatmeal color yarn. So we're going to, in our slip stitch, we're going to grab the oatmeal color and pull it up, pull it through, and make sure we grab the working yarn and slip stitch and chain. excuse me, we're going to chain. Now, tie off these. And again, you can work your tails in as you work, or you can work them in as you go along, whichever way you wish to do. So for round 7, I'm going to just pull those under for now. For round 7, we're going to, we already did our chain 1, so we're going to single crochet in the back loop of that same stitch we just slip stitched into, and in the next stitch. And now we're going to do a treble crochet 2 rows down, and do our 4 single crochets in the back loop only. And again, this is going to be our repeat. We do our treble crochet 2 rows down, and then 4 single crochets back loop only. So repeat this pattern all the way around to get back to the beginning, and row 7 is going to end with 2 single crochets back loop only. I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of row 7. We still have 60 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we made. To start round 8, we're going to chain up 1 and slip stitch and single crochet into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into, back loop only, and single crochet back loop only into the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to do our treble crochet 2 rows down, and single crochet in the next 4 stitches, back loop only again. Then our treble crochet 2 rows down, and the single crochets, 4 single crochets, next 4 stitches, back loop only. Repeat this pattern all the way around to get back to the beginning, and row 8 is going to end with a single crochet in the last stitch. So I'll meet back up with you at the end of the round. I'm at the end of row 8. We're going to slip stitch to join. For row 9, from here on out, row 9 all the way up to row 21, we're going to be doing a repeat of row 4 through 8. And we're actually going to be ending on row 6. But we're going to be changing colors in between. So at the end of row 9, we're going to change to color, to the brown color, to which would be, if you were doing ABC, would be color A. Then row 7, we're going to change back to the brown color, or row 12, I should say, which will be row 7 on the repeat. Row 15, we're going to change back to color, to the light gray or the oatmeal color which will be on the repeat, it's going to be row 5. And then row 18, we're going to change back to the brown, which in the rotation of the repeats is going to be actually row 8. And then we're going to finish with row 6. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but what I'll do is I will meet with you at each time we change colors and let you know which rows you are to repeat. So we're going to be on row 9 right now, and we're going to be repeating row 4 and changing our color at the end of the row. So let's get started on row 9. We're going to chain up 1 and single crochet back loop only in that stitch that we just slip stitched into, and in the next 3 stitches. And we're going to be doing our treble crochet 2 rows down, and then we're going to do our 4 single crochets back loop only in the next 4 stitches, which brings us up to our next treble crochet. So for row 9, we're repeating row 4, and I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 9. We're at the end of round 9. We still have 60 stitches. We're going to drop our oatmeal, and we're going to pull up our dark brown because we're going to change colors. Let's do our chain 1 here to secure and tie these together. Now for rows 10 through 12, they're going to be a repeat of 5 through 7, so 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to change colors again. So I'm going to meet up with you back at the end of row 7, but I'll start you off with this row, or at the end of row 12, which will be row 7, the repeat of row 7. So I'll start you off. We've done our chain 1. We're going to treble crochet 2 rows down. So we find that free loop. Treble crochet, and our 4 single crochets back loop only, and then your treble crochet 2 rows down. And this is how we're going to proceed with this row. And this is, again, this is a repeat of row 5. So go row 5, 6, 7, and I'll meet up with you at the end of row 12, which is the repeat of row 7, and we're going to change colors again. I'm at the end of row 12. We still have 60 stitches. We're going to slip stitch into that first stitch we made. We're going to drop our brown and add our light brown. Now we're ready to start row 13, which is going to be a repeat of row 8. So chain up 1. So row 13 is a repeat of row 8. then 14 will be a repeat of row 4, and 15 will be a repeat of row 5. And then we're going to change colors again at the end of row 15. So I'm going to start you off on row 13, which is a repeat of row 8. So we chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the same stitch that we just slip stitched into in the back loop only, and single crochet back loop only in the next 2 stitches. We're going to do our treble crochet 2 rows down, and then the next 4 stitches single crochet back loop only, which brings us on top of our treble crochet. We're going to do a treble crochet 2 rows down in that free loop, and that's how we're going to proceed with row 13. So just to recap, row 13 is a repeat of row 8, row 14 will be a repeat of row 4, row 15 will be a repeat of row 5. I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 15 where we're going to change colors again. I'm at the end of row 15. We're going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we made, and we're going to pull up our next color, which is the oatmeal color. And let's tie these 2 together. Now for rows 16, 17, and 18 are going to be a repeat of row 6, 7, and 8. So 16 is a repeat of row 6, 17 is a repeat of row 7, 18 is a repeat of row 8. Then we're going to change colors again. So I'm going to start you off on row 16, which is a repeat of row 6. I'm going to chain up 1, and we're going to single in that same stitch that we just slip stitched into, back loop only, and we're going to treble crochet in our next stitch 2 loops down, or 2 rows down, and then we're going to do our 4 single crochets in the next stitch in our back loop only, treble crochet 2 rows down in that free loop, and continue the same pattern all the way around. Same thing we've been doing. So we're going to do, just a recap again, row 16 is a repeat of row 6, row 17 is a repeat of row 7, row 18 is a repeat of row 8. I'll meet back up with you at the end of row 18 where we're going to change colors one more time to finish up. I'm at the end of row 18. We still have 60 stitches. We're going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we made, and we're going to pull up our brown, our dark brown. This is our last color change. And let's see here, we got to tie these off. I got to find the right end. Sorry about that. So let's tie these together. And pull those under. Now for this set of repeats, get this, pull these under there like that so they're out of the way. Okay, so for rows 19, 20, and 21, we're going to be repeating row 4, 5, and 6. So row 19 is going to be row 4, row 20 is going to be row 5, and row 21 is going to be row 6. So we're going to start, I'll start you off. We're going to chain up 1, and we're going to single crochet into that same stitch that we just slip stitched into, back loop only, and we're going to single crochet, back loop only into the next 3 stitches. And then do our treble crochet, so you can see, 2 loops down, or 2 rows down, sorry about that. I keep wanting to say loop. That's because we're doing it in the free loop. And then we're going to do our single crochets in the back loop only, 4 of them. Just like this is the same pattern, just the difference is for the beginning of rows how we started off. So continue with this till you get back to the beginning, and then you're going to repeat for row 20, row 5, and for row 21, row 6. I'll meet up with you at the end of row 21 where we're going to fasten off and weave a nice long tail so we can sew up the top of our hat. I'm at the end of row 21. We still have 60 stitches, and we're going to fasten off. And I left a nice long tail so we can sew up our hat. So get your yarn needle, thread it up. And I do have my tails that I have to weave in, but I'll weave those in later. And just go in and out of all of the stitches in row 21. Just go in and out. I mean, it doesn't have to be every single stitch. You can go like every other stitch. It's like, you know, not exact. Because we're just going to cinch the hat closed. Keep going all the way around till you get back to the beginning. Sorry about that, I went off camera a little bit. I'm going to get back to the beginning, or not quite there yet. Okay, you're just going to cinch it all down so you have the top of the hat closed, like that. Be careful not to pull too tight because you don't want to break your yarn. And put a couple of stitches across the top to keep the top closed. A couple of stay stitches. And Once you're pretty confident that the top of your hat is closed, there, then you can just bring your yarn down through the middle to the inside. Inside the hat, and go ahead and put a little knotted off there. Like I said, I still have to weave in all my tails, which I'll do later on. Just put a little knot. Best way I find is you want to grab a couple of stitches to do that knot. It's usually the best way to do it. You just grab a couple of stitches to knot off that yarn. It usually works better that way. And then just knot it off. Like so. And then you can snip it off and weave those tails in as well. And here is your hat. So if you've liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that bell. Thanks for watching, and happy crocheting. Bye-bye.